This is episode 9 of the FIU Athletics Paw'dcast, joined by wide receiver Tyrese Chambers. Tyrese had an incredible 2021 season, second in the country in yards per catch, and breaking single-season FIU records for touchdowns and receiving yards. This was a great conversation. Tyrese's journey is one of the most unique, I feel, in college football, and he certainly has an important role in this upcoming year, both on and off the field for FIU. I'm AJ Ricketts. Thanks for listening. Make sure to rate and subscribe to the podcast on Apple. You can also listen in on FIUsports.com as well. All right, let's get into the pod with Tyrese Chambers. Tyrese, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem.
Spring practice well underway now. It's starting to get a little hotter.
Yes,
Starting to get a little hotter out there each and every practice. But how has spring ball been for you? Tell me a little bit about how it's been going out there.
A lot of new faces, a lot of new coaches, new OC, new scheme. We're running a lot of new plays. Everything is kind of new, so we all trying to fill each other out and trying to build chemistry along the way and stuff like that. So it's just been about learning, competing, learning, and just getting better.
When you came in last year, obviously everything was new for you. You've been in Miami, you've been at FIU for a year now, but now obviously the new coaching staff comes in and new concepts and schemes. Are you finding it easier to adjust and learn this season with a bit of a background on campus and your routine? Has there still been a learning curve to picking up the new things with this staff and what this offense may bring? What is that like right now?
Definitely, it's still a learning curve for me.
Sure.
I'm still learning different things. I haven't reached my peak yet. I'm still trying to get better and excel and stuff like that. I'm kind of one of the older guys on the team, so that's kind of new for me as well. Instead of asking the older guys questions and learning, the young guys asking me questions and stuff like that. And I'm trying to lead by example and stuff like that. So just being a sponge, man, just sucking in everything, learning in everything. Taking in everything, taking coaching and, just getting better, man, is just pretty much everything that's been going on this
I want to get to that dynamic in a second, but first, I just want to rewind to this past offseason. I think it's fair to say that a lot of the FIU faithful thought you were gone.
Yeah.
Into the portal. A lot of Power 5 offers. I think Arizona State, Syracuse, Indiana, a couple come to mind. But Coach Mack was hired early December. And really not long after, it may have been less than a week, I think he was on a flight up to Baltimore and met with you and your family. What were those conversations like, and what was his pitch to you? I think it was a jolt for the program when you announced you were coming back, just new life. I think you were like the first recruit for Coach Mack. He was out recruiting quick, but when you announced you were coming back and the things you wanted to do with this program, what ultimately led to that for you?
Just honestly, he was just honest, man. He kept it 100, and just by him flying out to my city, that's the first time like a Division I head coach ever flew to my home before. You get what I'm saying? And he met my mom and met my siblings and stuff like that. And he was just honest, man. He gave a speech about himself and his background and stuff like that. And he told explained to me what he wanted to do with the program and his vision. And we had kind of the same vision and stuff like that. And I told him I love FIU and me leaving was never a thing that I wanted to do. However, I just didn't know what the future may hold, and I wanted to visit some other places and see if I fit in some other programs and stuff like that. And ultimately this was just a good decision on my end. I talked to God about it, talked to him about it, talked to my mom and my family about it, and it just felt like it was the best place to be. So
I think that's interesting. He was the first Division I coach to come see you in Baltimore, because
head coach.
Head coach. Tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like that may have been a sticking point for you, that you remembered going back to your time in high school in Baltimore, because you were all-state team there. The USA Today All-State, one of just two, maybe the only receiver on the All-State team. You put up numbers, you put up stats, but head coaches weren't coming to make a house call to you. And then a couple of years later, now FIU's head coach is in there. Did you put that together at all? Hey, this is what I wanted a few years ago, and now finally someone's coming here to a place that I feel is overlooked a lot.
Yeah, man. It was. I have a huge amount of respect for him for doing that. He didn't have to do that. And, you know, that did kind of bring back some memories, you know, back then. And, you know, I put in so much work and it just wasn't paying off. It just wasn't, you know, nothing was happening for me. And I kept my faith, kept believing and kept working hard. And, you know, eventually, you know, days like that come where, you know, you get Power 5 looks and you still get a chance to make a decision of where you want to play football. You know, the ball is in my court now and not me begging for, you know, to go to somebody's school. And now it's, you know, I can pick where I want to go. So him flying to my city. And, you know, Baltimore is not a place that you just fly to. You get what I'm saying? It's them trenches, man. Like, and him doing that was like, man, he really cared, man. He really want to, you know, see this school excel. And, you know, this was a great hire for us, and he's a great coach, man.
You've had a few years to kind of observe that dynamic of the recruiting scene in Baltimore and players that may get an opportunity or not. You have to work your way through JUCO after Baltimore. Why do you think that is? Why do you think players like yourself were overlooked coming out of that area in that high school scene?
Man, to be honest, it's really hard. That's something I've been thinking about for a few years now. And it's been like something I've been trying to do math on and put two and two together and figure out, you know, why isn't we getting recruited or why isn't we getting looked down there? I feel like everybody got their own path, you get what I'm saying? And certain places you just gonna have to go through more stuff than others. But I can say this though, the ones that have to go through that and they end up, you know, coming out on top at the end is the ones that, you know, endure through everything. Right. You know, they're the last one standing versus, you know, places where kids from, you know, certain places that people recruit out of and they get to a school, they don't take advantage of their opportunity. They're not, you know, I'm grateful for everything. I tell them that all the time. Like, just me being here, I'm happy just doing this right now. You get what I'm saying? Stuff that I couldn't do a couple years ago versus a kid that, you know, already was in this position, not taking advantage of it. Food, they giving us food, you know what I'm saying? A JUCO kid or a kid that never had food before, they're going to take advantage of that versus somebody that been getting fed all the time. I don't want to eat that. Somebody else going to eat it, and then they're going to start producing. So it's just like, it's really not a specific answer. I really don't know why we don't get recruited like that, but I do know that the kids who do make it out of there is always the kids that endure it to the end.
Hopefully it's an inspiration, a motivation, you know, seeing the journey you've been able to take and where you're at this point. You were talking a little bit more now, or a little bit ago, about the dynamic of spring ball this year, of kind of taking on a mentorship role or whatnot. I mean, when you were at Fort Scott, it was just spring ball for you, right? And then you get into Sacred Heart, you know, that FCS program, and you're learning, you're immersing yourself. You just came from JUCO. Maybe you don't feel like you're in a position to be a team leader. Just come in and act like you know everything that's going on, right? And you come to FIU, and again, I was an FCS All-American, but I'm trying to prove myself at this level. Maybe you don't feel you have the chops yet to be that vocal leader. I would think it's different now. You've proven yourself at this level. You're back, the biggest recruit in this class. Do you feel you've needed to take on a different role, with whether it's how vocal you are in practice, whether it's your relationships with younger guys? Do you feel this is a new territory for you as a football player?
Yeah, I do. I feel that way. However, I do also feel like it's still more to prove, man. It's just like, it's never going to be enough for people. Like, you get to a certain point and you reach new heights. People want to see you reach more heights. You get what I'm saying? It went from, you know, me getting reps in practice and making plays in one-on-ones to making plays in team, then making plays in the scrimmage, then making plays. It's like a build-up. And certain catches that, you know, that may look like it's impossible to catch, people are expecting me to catch it. Like, you know, you got to make those. You get what I'm saying? And when you make those, you got to make those again. And you got to make those again. So it's like, it's always you know what I'm saying, I'm at a new level now, but it's still a lot to prove and stuff like that, and I got to lead by example for the young guys, man.
When a lot of people talk about your season, the yards per catch, lead of the country comes to mind, the 201-yard game, all the accolades, all the accomplishments, and very, very well so they should talk about that. But I'm sure in your mind, you're thinking, what can I get better? What can I improve? What are those things that when you come off a season like you did, what do you identify? Who helps you identify how I can keep getting better and take another step?
Yeah, man. It's just like I kind of watch film a lot, so I watch myself from last year and critique myself and some of the things that I could have did better. And it's a lot of things I could have did better, man. I'm nowhere near my full potential, and I keep telling myself that every day. Even in the spring, you know, I'm still. You know, I'm honest. I'm an honest guy, so I'm not having the best spring. You get what I'm saying? I'm still learning. I'm still trying to, you know, feel out things and, you know, get some chemistry with the quarterbacks and stuff like that. So it's always a learning phase. But I feel like you just gotta be a sponge, man. It's just like I'm getting at a new level right now. I feel like it's gonna be even bigger year than last year. But
tell me if I'm wrong. I think it was self-admittedly in an article I saw. Maybe the playbook wasn't learning the playbook was one of those things you felt you needed to absorb better last year.
Yeah, it was tough.
What goes into learning a playbook? Tell the fan, the casual, like, are you flipping through a binder just looking at a route? How much film goes into it? You know, chopping it up with the coach, watching post-practice film versus being in a binder. Like, how do you immerse yourself and absorb the binder full of plays you're trying to learn?
It's endless. It's nonstop. You know, in my room, I got my plays hanging up on my wall.
Really?
Yeah, so I look at it before I go to sleep. I look at it when I wake up in the morning. That's the last thing I look at, and that's the first thing I look at when I wake up. So that's how much commitment that you gotta put that work in. That's how much you gotta be committed to the sport and committed to getting better. And you know, I'm a visual learner, so I gotta see it drawn up on the board and stuff like that for me to actually learn it versus. Everybody learn differently, so you just got to figure out what's the best way for you to learn. You know, sometimes it may be putting it on note cards and carrying it with you. Sometimes it may be hanging it up on your wall. Sometimes it may be, just keep telling it to yourself and somebody testing you every day or, just watching it on film. You know, everybody got to learn differently. So, my advice to people out there, just basically, figure out how you learn. You know what I'm saying? And, go with whatever way you learn the best and the fastest, and you stick to that and just keep doing it consistently.
Yeah, I think it's so fascinating, that aspect, and just how much practice film is watched. I think fans or folks might think, game film is the end all and be all of film, but every day you're watching every single one of those reps in practice almost.
If you want to be honest with you, practice is more frustrating than the game. You watch your practice film, you're like, what am I doing, man?
You can't take a rep off anymore.
Yeah, it's way more tough than the game, man. You just gotta get better, man. You just gotta consistently get better, and that's what we practice for. So
I want to ask you about some of your time in junior college. So I read an article last year, and I'm gonna talk about it on the ESPN Plus broadcast because it's an incredible story to me. But I'm really thinking more about it and how you get through a time period like that. Okay, you started at Tyler Junior College, right, and then right after that it was Fort Scott. For whatever reason, not to disparage Fort Scott or whatnot, apparently the housing wasn't ready for you.
Yeah.
So you're in the laundry room, is that right?
Yes.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks before I got in the dorm.
So you're coming out of high school in Baltimore, you're not getting recruited, despite great numbers. You go to your first JUCO, it doesn't work out. So your second JUCO in a short amount of time after you feel you've already been overlooked, you don't have a dorm room. You're living in the laundry room. How far away from your goals did you feel like when you're sleeping in the laundry room at a JUCO hundreds of miles away from home? Like you can't have felt like you were on the right track, or maybe you did. Tell me how you felt.
Man, it's a dark place, man. It's a dark place, and a lot of kids don't make it out of that dark place. It's sad to say, but I just kept my faith, you get what I'm saying? I prayed every night, and I just always knew, that I was going to be somebody, you get what I'm saying? And you just got to keep telling yourself that consistently. Every day you wake up, you got to figure out what you want to do with your life, man. And I was just always thinking about, playing college football and, showing the world what I can do. And that's what I kept doing. And even if it was little things like, stand up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, playing, on the jugs with my quarterback. We was catching every night, or watching film, or just, praying together. Sometimes I was on my knees, I was crying, man, tears, you get what I'm saying? It's a dark place. It is a dark place, but what people say when you're in a dark place is always the light at the end of the tunnel. That's real. You get what I'm saying? You got to keep going, and eventually it's going to get better and stuff like that.
Was that 2 weeks the low point, or was there any sort of levity? Like you'd FaceTime a friend and be like, man, I'm in the laundry room.
And you in the middle.
You try to bring some levity to what was...
You're in the middle of Kansas, man. There ain't nothing out there. You're in the middle of Kansas, and you in the laundry room, and you sleeping on the couch.
You say, last chance you needs to come here right now.
Yeah, like you hear I'm sleeping, and I just keep hearing laundry just go, like.
At least you don't have to walk too far, though.
Yeah, I was like, bro, are you serious, bro? My dorm wasn't ready. The bathrooms was terrible, man. The atmosphere, it just was crazy, and But I look at the positive stuff of things. I found out that I love horses. I didn't even know I like horses till I got out there. I started riding horses.
Did you ride a horse?
I ride a horse, yeah. I ride a couple of them.
We're going to audition you for Yellowstone.
Yeah, man. So you just gotta find just different things. You get what I'm saying? I seen different parts of the stars down there. I met, you know, some great people down there, man, and I connected with some people that I'm still in contact with today.
Yeah.
So I just take the positive stuff in it. You know, it made me work harder. It made me, you know, figure out if you really love football or not. You know, you gotta question yourself, like, is this for me? And I've seen a lot of people walk out, man, just wait, I can't do this. I gotta go back home. I seen a lot of people like gone days after days. And when I first got there, you know, I was sleeping in the laundry room the first 2 weeks. My head coach ended up getting fired, so they ended up bringing another coach in, and he's trying to like clear everybody out, like everybody getting out of here. So we doing up downs every day. We outside in the snow, bear crawling. We just doing some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
And he was just trying to see who was going fold, who was going, you know what I'm saying, who was going to break. And I was like, man, this is crazy. It just can't get no worse. It just keep getting worse. It just feel
can
like
only get better. Sometimes that is motivation.
You get what I'm saying? So, man, it's definitely a dark place, man. But you gotta just stay prayed up in this situation. That's all I really can tell people.
All right. At Sacred Heart, then, after those low, dark places, finally, at last, you start having some success and a lot of success. You become an FCS All-American. You're making plays week after week. Your team is winning. When does the mindset start to change at that point? Or is there a point in the season there at Sacred Heart when you're thinking, all right, now I'm starting to make progress. Hopefully an FCS All-American spot gets me a position somewhere, gets me some looks. Did it start to really feel attainable then? How important was that experience at Sacred Heart?
It was really important, man. It was also a humbling experience. You know, I went there, I thought I was going to get number 5 or something, or like a single digit. I was in 16. They threw me in 16.
That's not a sexy number.
Yeah, they threw me in 16, man. They had me on the. I didn't start my first game either.
Yeah.
We was in Maine. We flew to Maine, something like that, and I didn't start that game. It was a humbling experience as well, man. I had a couple of friends that I knew prior to me getting there that I already knew. We was in communication and stuff, and I let them know I was coming and stuff like that. And you know, I was out there just trying to prove myself. I was, you know, always the first person in the weight room, last person to leave, just grinding, man. I finally got my opportunity, second game, and I took advantage of it. You know, made some plays and stuff like that, and started making a name for myself. And you know, even in that process, it always a humbling experience, because it's like you do all that, and then you get to this level, and people just look at you like, okay, that wasn't here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They say, oh, it was FCS.
Be like, dang, I just did all that last year, and then you got to start all over again?
Yeah.
I just started over 3 times.
So in a way, does that make what you're able to do here right now, year 2 in the same place, like that that much more gratifying? That you don't have to start over. There's new coaching staff, but I don't have to start over in the same sense where you have in different JUCO plays. That almost like finally. Yeah,
I tell you one thing. The best advice I give people is you can't please everybody. You gotta focus on what you want to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted me to go to a Power 5 school. You know, when I was in the the little process of transferring, and people was like, you know, well, he did it. He did it in JUCO. It's not at a D1. Okay, I did it at a D1. Okay, it's not FBS. I do that FBS. It's not Power 5. Now I gotta go to a Power 5 again to show everybody I love my school. Why I gotta leave to go prove somebody else? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do what I want to do this time. I'm in control. You know what I'm saying? I love FIU. You know, it's a place that I call home, and I made a lot of plays here and stuff like that. And, you know, my ultimate goal is playing on Sundays, man. So they can say what they want to say. See me on Sundays.
The phrase is probably cliche, you know, chip on your shoulder. It seems like you've had to have one for so long. Do you feel like you still operate with that kind of mentality, or does that become exhausting eventually? And at this point, you're comfortable with your journey, but you still want to achieve more, but it's not so much like I have to prove this after, or is it still very much that dynamic for you?
It's still very much that dynamic. Yeah. I don't think that chip on my shoulder ever going to come off. Even when I get in the league, or you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's ever going to come off. You know, I was just looking at something the other day, I think it was like 24/7 Sports and you know, Rivals or something like that.
Yeah.
People tell people not to look at things like that. I need stuff to fuel me.
Really?
So I got to look at stuff like that, because they was, you know, naming the top returning receivers, and I'm like, you know, I ain't make the list, so there's something else on my shoulder. I got to show them why I should have made the list.
Put that article up on next to the plays.
Yeah,
and
it's going in my locker. It's going in my locker.
The locker.
Yeah, it's going in my locker. I gotta always, you know, keep something fueling me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's something that keeps me going. That's what makes me great. I always have stuff that's fueling me, and you know, I feel like if I had made the list, that would make me comfortable or complacent.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm glad that I didn't. So
Yeah.
that made me something to look forward to next year. This year coming up, and It's exciting, man. It's exciting. I look at, having the chip on my shoulder as an exciting thing. I just want to, prove myself right instead of proving other people wrong.
Right.
I don't think that chip is
a big difference. That's a big difference. External versus what you want to accomplish.
Exactly.
Internally. That's a big difference for sure. I want to tie an FIU legend here into this. You do the call God after touchdowns, AB.
Yeah.
But you've talked about how you model so much of your game after T.Y. Hilton, who
Yeah.
obviously was here during an electric time. Sold out games, bowl games. It was a fun time period for FIU football. What do you model anything of your game after his? And if you could pick his brain, if you could ask him a question, whether it be macro and his time at FIU and how he went about his business to a football technicality, what if you were having a conversation with Ty, what do you think you would ask him, and what do you model your game after him with him?
Yeah, so crazy is we followed each other on Twitter.
Okay.
I DM'd him.
Yeah.
And he responded. So
that's awesome.
I asked him some questions and stuff. I asked him a lot of questions, and he responded. And I'm a few things, and I go tell everybody at the gym.
Sure, we don't need the specifics, but if you give us something.
Yeah. A few things he was saying is, as far as like just being a better receiver, work on contested catches, work on, getting off the press, things like that. And then, as far as mentally, he was just saying, stay the course. Make sure you understanding that it's just not about you. You know what I'm saying? Don't focus on everything around you. Focus on yourself. And focus on how you can get better and stuff like that, because everybody's watching and everybody's waiting for, especially being at FIU, people is waiting for a day to come where, football going to get turned around again. And, he was, when he came here, I think they was at a winning season. His first year he came here or something like that.
There were some tough times right before that.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? I asked him how he endured that and how he handled that. And, he gave me a lot of information on how he handled it. And more questions I would ask him is, just being at FIU, it's pretty tough when you losing. Like it is. I think it's tough anywhere, but it's certain schools, have losing seasons. Their fan base still support them. There are people still at their games and stuff like that. It's pretty hard when, I think it was like one game last year. It was like Charlotte or something. Yeah. That was the 200-yard game I had, and it was like 60 people in the stands.
Yeah, it can be challenging.
That's hard, man. Yeah. Like, that's hard. You know what I'm saying? I work crazy to get to this point, and it's like, dang, 60 people at the stands, like, that's fueling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want to do, that's why I told people when I first came here, I want to do what he was able to do. You know what I'm saying? Bring that electricity.
I feel that's where it was before T.Y. and those guys got here, and I look at some YouTube videos and be able to find they sold out the place.
Yeah, they did.
It was an event, It's awesome to see. I remember I was a freshman at school down the road. I was trying to get a ride to the Duke FIU homecoming game because that was the event in town that everybody knew about Ty. Yeah. Everyone was trying to see that game. And,
exactly.
FIU football was an event. Hopefully, it's able to get back to that kind of place. I know Scott Carr is working really hard, and I know Jonathan Cyprian as well, who's facilitating a lot of NIL stuff. And I know you've had some conversations with him. It seems like you're embracing, or you're really wanting to connect with people who are at FIU before you. You're really wanting to buy into the FIU experience. What do you love about being on this campus, about being in Miami? What are the enjoyable aspects? Maybe on the field stuff wasn't, the individual success was great. Maybe the team success wasn't where you wanted, but what was enjoyable this past 12 months for you?
Miami is a great place to be. You know what I'm saying? In general, you get what I'm saying? It's some of the best times of my life, man. I done had some of the best food in my life.
Yeah.
I eat a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I eat a lot.
Hey, me too, man.
I like going I just like the scenery, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the trees. You know what I'm saying? I'm addicted to palm trees. I've always been addicted to palm trees. And where I'm from, you don't see that every day.
No.
It feels good outside.
Where's your go-to food spot then down here? Where do you love to go?
I like Bar and G's.
Okay.
I like Bar and G's. I like American Social.
Oh, yeah.
On
the river?
I know something.
That's a good vibe.
I can't tell everybody.
Tyrese, I was there last night.
Yeah. There's a couple other spots I like going, but just enjoying the scenery, the weather. It's nice people here. A lot of people are respectful here. I like getting on jet skis. I was on a helicopter a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just getting a full experience as a college student. A lot of FIU students don't get that full experience of Miami, and they should, because that's a part of being in FIU.
You gotta make the most of being down here.
You got to make the most of it, and that's all I've been telling people. That's what you got to do, is make the most of it. There's so much stuff to do. There's so much stuff to do down here.
Yeah, when you come from a place where there's not a lot of anything,
Exactly.
or not a lot of palm trees.
Exactly.
You're going to make the most.
You gotta make the most of it.
You're really going to embrace that.
Yeah, you can ask some people on my team. People
Yeah.
that's even from here. I done go more places than them, and they from here. They like, dang, he everywhere. Yeah, I am. I'm getting a full experience of it.
Right. No, that's awesome. Tyrese, we'll wrap up with this. I'll let you go. We really appreciate you taking time. You know, what is exciting you the most about this upcoming season? You know, there's been recent seasons here where, you know, publications predict a 3 or 4 win season and the team gets 8 or 9 and completely defies it. And there's been recent years where those publications have been right. You know, everyone loves a quick turnaround. It's more attainable now with the portal and whatnot. I know you have high goals with this team. You want to see the team's success get back to where it was. You know, what excites you about that possibility this year? What makes you think that this team can take a leap?
I'm going to say just the culture. You get what I'm saying? Everything is different around here. And, you know, like Coach said, it's a new day. And something I drive myself on too as well, man. It's just like I'm up for the challenge. That's the most exciting part for me. You know what I'm saying? People question if I could do what T.Y. did and bring back that electricity at FIU. And I'm up for the challenge, man. And that's something that I work on every day and working with my teammates and working with my coaches. And that's something we all working on. We set a standard, so we know what we want to do this year. We know what we want to achieve. And now it's just like going after it. You know what I'm saying? I done been in college for 4 years now. This is my last year. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is my last ride, so I got to make the most of it, and I'm excited to see what God got in store for us.
Tyrese, the FIU fam is thrilled to have you back, and thanks for the time, man.
I appreciate it.
This
Thank
was
you.
fun. Yes,
Definitely.
sir.
Yes, sir.